The national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
At Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
the 1-0. In the air, right center field. Ross on the move. Rock it there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep three. Come on now. And don't connect. Rocky Draghi this time. Indeed. New hand jam. Down the middle. Got it. On the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football and it's absolute best.
And this is college athletics at its absolute best, man. Welcome in to another episode of the Vols Fanatics Show. I am Michael. Tonight, I am being co-hosted by none other than Jake Arnold himself. Jake, how you doing tonight, man?
Man, doing great, contrary to what everybody around me is thinking when we talk about the Vols.
Yeah, 100%. Skylar was unable to make it tonight. He actually got tickets. He's going to be in person at Tennessee, Texas tonight in the Food City Center. So, Skylar, we do miss you tonight, but hopefully you get a good ball game over there at TBA, as I'm sure it will be. And we got to show them who the real UT is, you know. But we have got a jam-packed show tonight, a lot to talk about, not just on the hardwood that has now started, but we got some stuff to talk about football-wise as well. Lots of things that we need to discuss tonight, Jake. But before we do all that, I'm going to give you our presenting show sponsor, and that is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was let down by an insurance company. So he decided to start his own agency, where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal trust. Chris Smith Insurance, you can call him at 865-272-3387. He's going to make sure that you get the right rates, everything that you need. Chris Smith is there for you, and he's been there for us since day one. So, Chris Smith, we really appreciate your continued support. So, Jake, tonight's rundown, we are going to talk about football first. We're going to talk about Tennessee's offseason. We're going to talk about transfer portal, the likes, the dislikes of it, basically just give our overall thoughts, kind of express our feelings about what we think Tennessee should have done, needs to do, and all the good stuff about Tennessee football. Segment 2, we are going to talk about Lady Vols basketball as they start off 2-0 in SEC play so far this season. And then segment 3, we are going to talk about Tennessee men who stumbled a little bit out the gate against Arkansas, but of course, trying to bounce back tonight against Texas. And somewhere in all this mix, I hadn't decided if we're going to do it in segment 1 or segment 3. We are going to give our semifinal picks of the college football playoffs, but let's get right into it. Our segment 1 sponsor, it is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. Contact Jeff Bowl at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So, Jake, let's hear it. Your thoughts so far on Tennessee's offseason. You can start wherever you want to. Make it your own. Just start from the very beginning as far as some of the hires Tennessee has made, as far as, you know, some of the pickups out of this season's recruiting class, or their lack of pickups from the transfer portal. Just take it where you want to.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a different world now with the way that college landscape is, as far as, teams giving money out left and right. So I just think it goes back to the bread and butter. I'm happy right now. The transfer portal opened up 2 days ago. Maybe
opened up on the 2nd.
On the 2nd, so 4 days. and we've already got 2 guys. So, I think it's a good thing to be waiting out. It's not like the guys who are the instant impact guys, I think, are going to be taken immediately. If they are, then were they really bought into the team that they were with previously? That's kind of the insight that I have. Um, One thing to me that I've really kind of been watching is what Texas Tech is doing, and Texas Tech is just throwing a ton of money at players right now. I mean, they just got the guy out of Miami of Ohio. I think he was a pretty elite pass rusher that a lot of teams are coming after, us included. Last name Little, I believe.
Yeah,
But
they also just got a guy Tennessee was after from Wake Forest, defensive lineman.
hey, and we've got a lot of guys coming out, but I mean, when you go through that transfer portal class and you look at who's transferred out, it's really not a lot. I know we really worried about Herring coming out of the portal. That was a big one. When you lose a starter, that's always going to hurt. To me, that speaks more on what Tennessee's leaning back on, and it's the values of what they're going to be doing defensively moving forward. To me, and I think I texted y'all in a group, we're going to be more of a quote unquote 4-2-5 team than playing 3 linebackers out there.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what that tells me is somebody lost a spot. And so I like the guys, Poindexter from Penn State. Excellent hire. I've heard a lot of good things from his peers. They say that he is a high energy guy. They say he's hilarious. Overall, he's going to be able to do an instant impact. And truthfully, I see what they're doing. They're trying to get a pipeline up north, and I think that's great. So all in all, super happy with what they did on the off season as far as coaching changes. And going back, there's been a lot of criticism on our O-line coach Ellerby when it comes to his development. I saw a tweet where like everybody's transferring out or they're benched. This guy we just picked up, he was a class of 2024 guy. I think his name is Ori, is how you pronounce it.
Ori Williams.
Yeah. Ori is a product, and I'm curious to see that will be a true test of development, in my opinion. I watched his high school tape, his senior year. Couldn't really find anything at LSU. I'm pretty sure he played a little bit. I'm sure. But to me, he looks like he's pretty raw. And I mean, you're going to take a 6'7", 300-pound offensive tackle all day. But bottom line, I really, really like the guy Quay Moss, the guy that got out of Kansas State. That guy could be what. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be as good. So just let me preface that. But Quay Moss for Kansas State might be what Tennessee needs as a Caleb Downs type player. He's going to be someone who I think they're going to play all over the field. They list him at safety. All of his films really showing him in press man on a slot. So that tells me nickel. I mean, it doesn't really matter where they line up. At the end of the day, I think that he's a stud. Most of my experience has been evaluating defensive backs at the Division I and JUCO level, and so that's really the position I feel confident in. And I actually took some notes. I mean, he's twitchy, he's physical, he's got a high football IQ, and he's really good on press. There's not a lot of guys who you can play a yard or two in front of one another and be able to stick to them. He's not great in phase, but and to the non-football knowers, what phase means is once that ball's kind of in the air and it's at anybody's ball, he can get a little bit weird, but I think that he's going to make up for it because we're going to have him near the ball. We're going to have him closer to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be more of a run stopper than anything. So really excited. They show him as a 3-star. Who cares? I'm not looking for star ratings here. I'm looking for pieces of need. What were really our 2 biggest pieces of need? It's going to be, now it's running back, so you need to get a running back. It's going to be and defensive back. Everything else is going to be fine. You just got rid of one. You have one less linebacker on the field, so I think that what they're doing is taking their time evaluating. Guys are going to continue to hit the portal as these teams take on more people. People's spots are getting taken. Their starting spots are getting taken as this portal goes on. So one comes in, one comes out. So all in all, I'm really excited about it. One thing that I'm interested to watch is going to be this Ty Simpson news. It seems to be murmurs, but the more and more I read about it, the more it seems like that has some traction. I'd be fascinated to see kind of what happens there. What are your thoughts on the Ty Simpson news?
So I'm glad that you kind of brought that up because I was going to ask you, as far as the quarterback situation goes, we both agree Tennessee needs another quarterback on this roster, correct?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to go into another season with just 2 scholarship quarterbacks, those being George McIntyre, Faison Brandon right now. You need another guy. Do we want it to be a guy like Ty Simpson? Do we want to wait around for Joey Aguilar, or do we want to get somebody now? Personally, if I'm Tennessee, I don't know what I would do because here's my thing. I do feel like that either one of those guys, George McIntyre, Faison Brandon, could go out and start game one next season. It could lead Tennessee to at least an 8-4, probably even a 9-3 season, as long as the rest of the team kind of falls into place around them. The way that this team is built, you can go out there and have a quarterback that, as long as he doesn't just make mistakes, then you can win football games. And I think either one of those guys can go out there and they can do that. But at the same time, you need a depth piece. And when I say a depth piece, you're not going to go out and get that in transfer portal. These guys that are hitting the portal, they're not going to be a backup. So you have to go out there and you have to pitch them this, I'm going to give you a chance to be a starter, but it's not going to come easy type deal. So is a guy like Ty Simpson, when you pitch that to him, going to come to Tennessee? And I know he's got some history there, committed to Tennessee before. Obviously, when Heupel came in, they weren't able to keep him, kind of got late into that cycle there. But are you going to be able to pitch that to him? Are you going to be able to pitch that to any of these other guys that are left? Because at this point, there's not a lot of top quarterbacks that were in the portal left. You're going to be going and getting more of a lower tier quarterback. Or do you wait around for Joey Aguilar to possibly get to come back? That might never even happen. I do think Tennessee needs to make a move instead of waiting on that. Honestly, I would love to have Ty Simpson. We saw what he did at Alabama this year. There was mistakes, but he also led that Alabama team for the first half of the season, and they looked pretty dang good doing it other than that Florida State game. So I love that we're getting this possible Ty Simpson to Tennessee news. Is it going to come to fruition? Honestly, I don't know. I think that if he starts getting some round one type buzz, and I do think there's been some of that out of the NFL draft, I really think that he would be crazy not to go to the draft at that point. But if you do start looking at a round 2, round 3 type buzz, come back to college for another year. Put some more tape on so you can be guaranteed to be a first rounder. And you're probably going to make more money coming back to college for that other season than you would as a second or third round draft pick. So no matter what happens, Tennessee needs a quarterback. I would love for it to be Ty Simpson.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're getting a guy, you're getting him to start. Otherwise, you would have picked up more quarterbacks. I mean, did we sign another quarterback this class with Faison? I don't think so.
No, it was just Faison. Kind of the same thing with last year. It was just McIntyre. Year before, it was just Merklinger.
But now, granted, we had depth then. We almost always a school's going to have 3 scholarship quarterbacks. I mean, that's pretty typical. I don't see a lot of schools not doing that. And I know the staff knows that. So, I mean, it's one of those things where my gut, I have no real sources telling me this, but I think there's some credible guys on VolQuest saying that it could happen, that Ty Simpson, is coming here if he doesn't get the first round eval. But my gut just tells me Ty Simpson having family kind of around here, stationed here, and knowing what his brother Graham, who I didn't know this was a baller. We really want Graham, apparently his younger brother. Kind of being able to have family that he can lean on and rely to help him make this decision is huge. I think that he's being quiet for a reason. We've not heard a word out of him. You've not seen him make a decision. I think it'll be a very swift decision is what it will be. And so he's not even entered the transfer portal yet. That's what's pretty wild about this. So I don't think this will be something that'll be wrapped up in a week. I think it'll take a little bit of time for it to happen, and I think that's hopefully what Tennessee's waiting on. Otherwise, I think they'd be in panic mode saying, we got to get a quarterback.
Well, here's the thing, is that, yes, I think it's going to take time, but it's not going to take as long as a lot of people think, because there's a 15-day window that these players can enter the portal. So Ty's got to go through, he's got to talk to his family, he's got to talk to his agents, talk to all these people, and come up with a decision before, I believe I figured up it was January the 17th. That's when the portal window closes as far as when guys can announce that they're entering the portal. Otherwise, they're going to be staying for another year. So we're going to find out before or by the 17th if Ty Simpson is going to be entering the portal or if he's going to the NFL draft. So that still to me seems like a little bit of time to wait. Because here's my thing, all right? So the title that I put on our thumbnail is the panic meter rising, or something along those lines. Should this panic meter be rising if you're a Tennessee fan? So far, the portal has been open for 4 days.
Yeah.
You have gotten 2 pickups. And when I say that there's a 15-day window, I kind of misspoke in one of my videos earlier this week. That does not mean that Tennessee only has 15 days to pick up guys from the portal. That's 15 days that these players have to be able to announce that they're either coming back to their school or entering this portal. They can pick up guys for quite some time afterwards, but here's the thing. They have to be signed and entered classes before school starts for this semester if they want to be able to come in for spring practices and things. Otherwise, they will have to remain at their current school until after the spring semester has ended and they can come in for summer classes. Kind of the same way that high school recruiting is. They have to enroll during that early signing period if they want to come onto campus and be available for practices. Otherwise, they're going to be there once summer starts up. So if you want guys to come in early and start getting in there with the team and all that stuff, you really want all these commitments to happen now rather than later. So in that case, me personally, I think that the panic meter should start to go up a little bit. I'm not full on panicking at this point, although most Tennessee fans are, because that's what Tennessee fans do. But I think we should start getting into that concern type area, which is about halfway between no concern at all and panicking. How do you feel on this, Jake?
I mean, I was just looking kind of as you were talking, and Georgia's only signed 1 transfer. I mean, I'm looking at the cream of the crop now. LSU's an anomaly right now. LSU's is like the hot number. It's very easy to get emotional on them. But even, they're the key pieces that they would want, like Kawan Lacey and Austin Simmons or Trinidad, they're staying, man. So, I mean, I think unless you're very money driven, which I think a lot of the top guys already got theirs, unless they're breakout guys. I'm not panicked. I'm not panicked. I think there is already the panic there. I've seen it online. But give me a kicker. Those are going to be, just give me a kicker. And maybe get me I don't care. Give me a piece at all offensive line. Other than that, I'm really not worried about what we're getting moving forward, because I think we did such a good job on the high school side that I'm not worried. Yes, you want to have more depth at O-line. You're seeing guys come out. We just don't understand what a year does to the development of people. That's the biggest thing about this is you're going to have a lot of no names like you had this year come out of the woodwork and play well. I mean, who would have thought that Ty Redmond, I know we didn't like him at the very beginning of the year, man, he was balling towards the end of the year.
Yes,
I don't think you're going to win a natty this year, so there's no reason to sell out. You're going to be on these guys if they're a sophomore for a few years, and you're not really going to ever talk them down or they're going to leave. So I think you're playing the long game here. It's not what people want to hear, but I think that we're being smart when it comes to the NIL front and trying to stay true to signing good athletes on the high school side and supplementing anything I can around me with real key pieces from the transfer portal. So unless you're getting a key piece, I don't expect to sign more than 5 or 6 guys out of the transfer portal. And then you move on, and then you can say next year, if we like our team better, then go and buy it. Nobody's going to donate when you're thinking you might have an 8-4 season or a 9-3 season. They'll donate when you think you could have a 12-0 season. And so you gotta kind of settle down and realize that next year it's going to be hard for us to win a natty. So
yeah,
I've been watching Danny White post a little bit, and people are like, man, Danny, get off of Twitter. Dude, he's making so much sense. Like, you have to see it from a business side to understand that this guy is investing within the ground itself, and then comes, you can't just get that immediate gratification. I mean, let's say you get Ty Simpson. What are you going to do if he has no line? You're going to end up like Alabama this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to transfer out because he can't throw the ball and he doesn't have a run game. So, if Ty Simpson wants to come here, I think that makes sense. That only makes sense because I think he wants more on film in a different system because they're very night and day. And I think that does nothing but tells the people around him, hey, he wants to prove himself. I mean, he's definitely a top 2 round pick, but I mean, there's no real hurt for him staying, and that's where I'm at. One guy that I really am mad we missed out on was the guy from West Virginia, or the guy from Jacksonville State. I don't know how much money West Virginia. They must have given him all the coal that has ever come out of that state. I can't believe we lost a guy like that to West Virginia. They must have paid him $4 million a year, something stupid. I like the guy from, like I said, Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. That guy could be good. There's not a lot of film on him either.
I've seen that he's is trending towards Tennessee. He is. So I think
Coleman's Ohio State, though, right? Is that pretty much like?
I haven't seen anything confirmed yet. I do think that one is once again a trending thing.
God, I want that guy.
I did kind of hate that we missed out on the Penn State edge rusher. I feel like a guy that has been under Jim Knowles, kind of knows what we're getting with him. I feel like that would have been a good piece there on the defensive line.
You're talking about Chaz Coleman, right? There's another one, I'm sure.
I think this is a different one. I cannot remember his name, but it was a guy from Penn State that was entering the portal. But I do know, I think Chaz Coleman is the one at Ohio State, because there's one at Ohio State. So there is a defensive back at Ohio State. I cannot remember his name.
Yes.
And then there was the edge rusher that might be Chaz Coleman.
Yes. Chaz is like the number one guy in the portal outside of whatever quarterback you want to say is the number one guy. That guy's a stud. I think it's between us, LSU, and Ohio State is what I saw. That guy's a baller. There's just no other way around it. He was, I think, a true freshman last year. He's not made a decision, thankfully, but he just finished up his LSU visit, and Ohio State's getting all these crystal balls from whatever recruiting sites there are nowadays. I mean, again, you still have 10 days to enter the portal, and if I'm playing, poker, I want to show my hand last. That's the power's in the players now. That's what's so weird, and so I'm just hoping that we're taking our time. I thought it was hilarious that Heupel went out recruiting.
So I kind of get where you're at with this right now, but let's hear it. What are your thoughts on Heupel going out and doing some recruiting instead of trying to be on campus for some of these guys that are visiting out of the portal?
I mean, every coach is going to play it differently. If you're going to watch the fan base on Twitter freak out, I would go and leave the state for a little bit. Like, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. I've been winning games here. That's the way I view it. I mean, do we think Heupel's on the hot seat?
No.
Do we think he will be next year if he goes 7-5?
Yes. That's where I tend to disagree. So I'm not to the point that Skylar is. We kind of talked about it for briefly last week. Skylar and I did. Skylar is right now is on the train of, if Tennessee misses out on the playoffs next season, then Heupel should be on the hot seat. I'm not there. I'm absolutely not there. But I think if you go 8-4 2 seasons in a row, then I think we might be looking at a hot seat.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be fired after next year. Like he could go 6-6 in my opinion, maybe even 5-7, and not be on the hot seat this year.
See, that's where I disagree with you a little bit.
And here's the reason why I say this. Danny White is not just a athletic director. That guy is a businessman, and he is working to get guys in the right places to be able to build a team. We know the resources are there.
Yep.
Our team was devastated by paying a lot of money to guys who just didn't show up. We've gotten rid of a lot of guys as far as the cancers on the team. To me, I just think it kind of falls down to this schedule is hard as crap this year. I mean,
it is.
It's not an easy schedule, and everybody who thinks that 10-2 is going to happen, it could. Did we expect the 11-2 season we had? Or no, was it 11-2? 2022.
It was. Yes, ended up being 11-2.
Yeah. Did we expect that in the year?
Absolutely not.
No. What did we expect this year?
I
9-3, 10 and 2 to 8
expected
and 4.
9-3.
10-2 to 8-4 was the range. That's a 2-game range. There's not much difference between 5-7 and 7-5. So what I'm getting at is the expectation this year is probably 8-4 as the ceiling. That's what a reasonable person would say. Maybe 9-3.
I would say 9-3. I
Because you don't
think
have a
Tennessee's entered
quarterback.
that. I think that Tennessee has entered that threshold that the ceiling should be at minimum 8-4, but I think it's 9-3.
So I can't disagree there. But who is your quarterback? Therefore, what I'm getting at is I think that they've already got it lined up. That's my gut. This is my gut. I think they've got Ty Simpson lined up. I think that you're fine on receiver. You probably want to get another
100%.
offensive lineman. Give me one guard. Just give me a guard. I can play anybody at center if they're smart. Give me a guard.
Well, here's the thing.
And then you're off to the races.
You've got Sam Pendleton that's coming back at center next season.
Great.
I think.
Great.
I'm almost positive that Wendell Moe also has another season.
Great. I see. I don't even know who's returning. Like I'm not. I used to know the depth chart. Like I really used to know it. But like to me, there's not really anything. I know Peyton Lewis left. What did Peyton Lewis really do? You know?
He scored touchdowns in short yardage situation.
Great. Okay, give it to Wendell Moe. Wendell Moe could do the same thing. Like to me, a lot of this breaks down to you've got guys coming in. I think you've got a lot of talent on the perimeter. I mean, they're Joel Wyatt. They like. I'm just not worried about it. I think we forget that we signed a really good recruiting class this season, and there's going to be a lot of freshmen play. You know, that's kind of the end all be all to me.
Yeah. So I'm trying to pull up the roster from this past season real quick. I do know that Sam Pendleton is coming back. I know that much because he came in with multiple years of eligibility. Yes, he was a redshirt sophomore this past season, so he's actually got 2 more years of eligibility left.
You still got Marion Dye at D-line.
Yeah, so Wendell Moe has another year of eligibility. He'll be coming back next season in offensive guard. You'll have, with Lance Hurd going out, you've got David Sanders, who's going to be your left tackle next season. You've also got Jesse Perry is probably going to be your right tackle next season. So then from there, you've got Sham Umarov that got time this season. You've also got who was the 5-star? Was it Nick Moore that we picked? No, Nick Moore was this past season, freshman. Who was the
5-star?
Yeah, who was the 5-star that we got? No, that we got this season in the recruiting class in the 2026 class.
Gabriel Osenda.
Yes, Gabriel Osenda. You could see him step in somewhere and play.
Do you still have William Satterwhite?
He entered the portal, so he's gone. Bennett Warren is gone.
Jesse Perry will play. Sam Pendleton will play. Wendell Moe will play. Brian Grant will play.
Brian Grant entered the portal as well.
Well, dang it. I'm making my points seem less. You'll be fine.
I mean, you do need some more depth. Now, you did get some guys in your recruiting class this year that are going to help out. You already mentioned Gabriel Osenda is one of them. Let me pull up who your signees were for this year.
Yeah, I mean, and you've DB, you got Trey Poteet, Ty Redmond, Caleb Beasley still there. I mean, you've got guys. As much as we hated Edris Farouk, we got him there. I mean, I'm not.
I did not hate him at all. I love Edris Farouk. He's a guy.
He's not a run stopper.
He is, but he's a guy that he just doesn't have a lot of experience. He is a ball hawk though. Like wherever that ball is, he's gonna be after it. He's just raw. He just needs more experience out there. And I feel like this coaching staff that we've got this season, or that we're gonna have into this coming season, they're gonna help him out a lot. But offensive line, as far as the guys you got out of your recruiting class, Gabriel Osenda obviously is one of them. Look for him to fight for that right guard spot or the left guard spot, by the way. Whichever one opposite of Wendell Moe. You also got Kamari Blair out of Clarksville. Yeah, it's 4-star player there. You got Edward Baker. He's a 3-star from St. Francis Academy in Maryland. So it looks like you got those 3 guys. Plus, you just picked up Ori Williams out of the portal. I'd
think you're
love to get
fine.
I'd love to get maybe one more guy as a depth piece.
Huh?
But I do think that you're fine at the offensive line now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and D line, I'm just looking at it, and you've still got guys that I'm not going to go too into the roster, but you've got guys sitting there. I mean, Rodney Garner, that's probably our strongest position group is D line. You just don't get to see a lot of them because they're just waiting for their turn. Um, so all in all, I'm satisfied with where we're at. We're, like you said, 4 days into the portal. So whatever. I mean, we'll probably get off this podcast and have somebody picked up. That's how active this thing is right now too. So we're
Yeah.
all mad until we get, Peyton Manning comes out of retirement and transfers in. That's the kind of stuff you're waiting on. So I think once they get the big name they want or they get a key piece, people will kind of breathe. They'll still be gripers. At the end of the day, let these guys coach. Let these guys evaluate mainly. I mean, this is really an evaluation piece. So to me, that's where we're at. Try to get the best bang for your buck and move on.
Yeah. So overall, as far as the offseason has gone so far, when it comes to the coaching changes, when it comes to the guys that transferred out, the recruiting class, and the transfer portal to this point, as far as commitments, what would you grade this offseason for Tennessee?
I give it a B minus.
I'm thinking along the same lines.
Yeah, I mean, you're not throwing like Texas Tech to me right now is an A. They're not an A plus, but they're an A. So there's a lot of teams in similar situations that we're in. There's a lot more power to the players. I'm happy where we're at. I'm not unhappy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like I've got some frustrations with kind of how things have gone because it just seems like everything's been kind of hush hush on um on the transfer portal side of things. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because that means that kind of like you said, you're keeping your cards close to your chest at this point. You don't want to play all your cards out right now. So maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But with the way that the media portrays things a lot of times now, you would think that you would be hearing a lot more as far as the visits, as far as where recruits are leaning, all this other stuff at this point in the portal cycle. I mean, yes, we're only 4 days in, but you look at some of the teams that have gotten guys and who they have gotten at this point, and it's like, man, Tennessee's behind the 8 ball when you just look at it from the outside. So I feel like maybe they could have been a little bit more aggressive, but I'm not hitting that panic meter right now. Like I said, I'm kind of teetering toward the concerned type area there.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Josh, this was the first season that Josh Heupel has underachieved at Tennessee in the 5 seasons that he has been in Knoxville. So who am I not to trust him?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's bottom line. And once again, who expected Nico to transfer?
Yes, that's a big thing there. Who expected Tennessee's defense to take as big of a step back as they did this year? But also on top of that, who expected you to be without your top 2 corners for most of the season and have a true freshman playing all season long out there? Who expected the defensive line to be as bad as they did? Granted, injuries on the defensive line, but also there were some trends there. Heupel self-evaluated, and you've pretty much cleaned house on that defensive side of the ball. And you have upgraded, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the ball. You locked down Rodney Garner, which is exactly what you needed to do. You kept William Inge. I don't think William Inge was any part of the problem right now. Now, we'll see in the next year or two if that is the case, if he is part of the problem. But you went out and hired one of the best in the business at defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles. He's brought in some of his guys. You mentioned Anthony Poindexter earlier. Yep. Huge pickup. You also got Andrew Jackson out there coaching the corners. You got Ohio State's safeties coach. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. Yeah. But you have got some dudes on the defensive side of the ball as far as coaching goes.
I think a bigger thing too, not to interrupt, but to me, you're not retaining your strength and conditioning coach. That is a huge deal. People don't realize how big of a deal strength and conditioning coach can make on a program. That is one of the biggest positions. If y'all know about Coach Cochran over at Alabama, that guy, if you ask Nick Saban, is a huge part of why they won football games. So that goes back to injury prevention. That goes back to being stronger, faster, more flexible, and overall just being able to have the mentality to push yourself further than you think you can.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not sure how much of the sports animal you listen to. I know Skylar and I like to listen to the Eric Ainge show on there.
Not much.
See, I listen to a little bit of Tyler Will in the afternoons as well, and I think they hit the nail on the head yesterday with one thing. So, when is the last time that you saw a guy on this defensive staff just be real fired up, be this guy that's just going to kind of get in your butt, kind of lose composure on the sidelines type of deal? Tim Banks is not one of those guys. Willie Martinez, whenever he was younger, you could probably attest to this. You've been around Willie Martinez some, haven't you? Was he on staff when you were there?
Briefly. He was there when I was on my way in and he was on his way out. So,
but at that time in his younger days, he was a little bit more fiery than he is now, wasn't he?
I mean, yeah, he can still recruit, but like to me, I just think the game's changed, concepts have changed, and coaching styles has changed, and DB coaches are so weird now. I mean, you got to have to be a little bit crazy in the head to do it. And Willie's just a lot more kind of cut and dry. There wasn't much creativity there this season, in my opinion. There's a lot of things I thought he could have done, and he really just didn't adjust the way I would have. But again, all good things on this hiring campaign. I'm really, really happy with the people that we've hired so far. That's been the biggest thing to me if we're talking off season. That is absolutely the biggest. Jim Knowles being the guy I wanted. So give that some time, and we'll see how we look then.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, I'm excited to see what this team's going to be able to do next season. We got a long off season ahead of us, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But would like to see something happen in the near future as far as especially the quarterback position goes, because it. All right, let me ask you this. So I already kind of laid out a little bit. Don't know if Joey Aguilar is going to get the extra season of eligibility or not. I'm leaning towards a no. If Ty Simpson does not come to Tennessee and we don't get that third quarterback that we need on this roster, are you leaning towards a more concerned type level at that point?
Michigan let Bryce Underwood start as a true freshman.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at is, you're recruiting these guys for a reason. And if you can't get them ready, especially a guy like George McIntyre, he's got a full year in this system now. Granted, he's seen zero playing time really at, any meaningful snaps at all in a ball game, but he's been through a full season under this system. And if you can't put him out there and let him run that offense and him have some sort of success, I feel like that falls more on you as a coaching staff than it does him as a player at this point, that preparedness. Faison Brandon, he's the type of athlete that I believe you give him this offseason, you give him the summer all the way to fall, that's more than enough time for a guy like him to at least learn the offense. Now, is he going to have more mistakes than a guy like George McIntyre probably will because of just the difference in time there? 100%. But in this day and age, once you get on campus, you better be ready to play. Otherwise, what are you doing there?
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. To me, it's pretty simple. I think that it's you get Todd Simpson and then you move forward. That's just the way my gut tells me. And I mean, I'm sure there is some quarterback out there that we could find as a depth piece. But at the end of the day, you've got guys like George McIntyre. When you start a guy like Faison, put him out there, he gets a turnover, and you've got a guy sitting there who's been in the system for a couple of years saying, okay, I know this. They're putting me in for a reason. I should have been here the whole time, and then he gets a chip on their shoulder. George knew he wasn't starting. Everybody knew they weren't starting as soon as Joey came in. Mm-hmm. Why would you buy in? These kids are, you remember how you were in college? That's kind of the deal. So at the end of the day, they're motivated by different things. Some are motivated by money, some are motivated by competition, and then some are just motivated by the common purpose of winning. So I like it. I would be okay. I don't think there's much of a change if you get a guy other than Ty Simpson or a elite ball player, which I think those are all kind of getting gobbled up, Sorsby and Metzdemaker and all those guys. I think where you're at now, there's not much of a difference if you got just a random Joe Blow on the side of the road. However, we said the same thing about Joey Aguilar last year, so who knows? We didn't know what we were getting. So um, for what it's worth, and this is not to shut down Joey Aguilar whatsoever, I do think Ty Simpson's a better quarterback than Joey Aguilar. So if it somehow came down to that, I might want Ty Simpson more than I want Joey. And I hope that doesn't make anybody mad, but I love what I see with Ty Simpson. I don't think that guy's a statue in the pocket. I think he can move around a little bit more and make O-line play look a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree with you on that either.
Okay.
So any other thoughts on Tennessee's offseason as a whole, whether it be recruiting, transfer portal, anything like that?
No, I mean, just happy with it. Happy with it. No, we've gone on it for a hot minute, so.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's a topic that a lot of people want to talk about. It's a very hot topic all the way around, no matter what school you are talking about. Yeah. So the fact that we're able to get to talk about it a little bit, to kind of get our content out there, I feel like it's something that we really need to do, and I feel like we hit most of the spots that we needed to on this as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that there's. I'm kind of on the train of, I feel like there's things Tennessee could do better.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've done a lot of good things as well.
Yeah.
So at this point, let's just get the roster together. Let's get these guys in the weight room. Now, that is one thing that I would like to see is I'd like to see pretty quickly that you get a new strength and conditioning coach in there, because they have not hired a new one yet. So I would like to see them go ahead and get a guy in there. That way these guys can get in the weight room. They can get trained up, get ready for that spring practice, and then you hit summer workouts hard so we can get to the fall ready to play. That is something that I would really like to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, you want to make some CFP picks now?
I thought that was a good time to ask that. I just, I wanted you to lead the show. I think that you talk about football and you end with football. You kind of just end your segment with still staying in the same, theme. So absolutely, I'll give my picks. I screenshotted them too. I know I didn't have any points, as far as picks this year for the end of the year, but I did screenshot a little bit as far as what I was thinking. What game do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with that Thursday game. It is going to be January the 8th. Yeah. That is, let me pull up the graphic for it. It is Miami going up against, well, I guess I put it on the wrong spot here. So let's get it pulled up. Miami going up against Ole Miss. Yep. There's the correct one. That is at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Miami, a 3.5-point favorite over Ole Miss, according to Action 247 Sportsbook.
Yeah, this is a weird game. I mean, this is a weird game.
Who would have thought that Miami would be here? And a lot of people would say, who would have thought that Ole Miss would have been here?
Yeah, same thing, but it's a little bit different. Like two different reasons. I mean, Miami has, in my opinion, no business even being in the playoff. I argued about this, when it came to putting Alabama in and not, Notre Dame, and talking about, well, if you're going to do 3 loss, then you need to take out my whole ordeal. Miami's a good team, man. They're absolutely capable of winning this whole thing. Every team here is capable of winning the whole thing. But my gosh, they are dirty. They are a very, very sound football team right now when it comes to, they know their identity. That's very the only team I think that doesn't know their identity right now is Oregon, but they're the most talented team right now on the playoff picture. Ole Miss is just now finding it. Ole Miss is so scrappy that they have thought they're the underdogs this entire time. They are sick and tired of being pushed around, and I absolutely love it. I've got a Jay Shoup. I think I've talked about him like 4 or 5 times here. I texted him after they beat Georgia. I Snapchatted him. I kept seeing it in the middle of the night and just said, hotty toddy, man, this is awesome. And he's just fired up. I love seeing him, getting after it. Absolutely deserving of that linebackers coaching position at Ole Miss. Stood his ground and stayed with Pete Golding through a pretty tumultuous, if I'm saying that right, part of the season. And I'm all for, if I want somebody to win, I want Ole Miss to win this thing. I think that would be a cap off to one of the greatest college football seasons we've had as far as in recent years, as far as getting rid of this cyclical, okay, this team's going to win it and this team's going to win it. I think that this opens the door wide open. And that's why, this is just the landscape we're in. I don't know if the over's going to hit, though.
I tell you what, I mean, that Miami defense has looked very good.
Oh, yeah.
And really the Ole Miss defense, now granted, that Georgia game kind of knew how that was going to play out, especially after the way that they played in the first match opening or earlier this year. The Ole Miss defense hadn't looked bad other than that game. And they didn't just look terrible against Georgia in that quarterfinals game either. So I think you could be right, but also I wouldn't touch this total because I think it's close. I think this could be a total of 48. I think it could be a total of 56. This is a total I would not touch. Not at all.
I have no feel on it. That's why I didn't make picks this this week. Obviously, it's been a tough season to evaluate anything. I mean, I'm going back now to identity football, and Miami's got elite pass rushers on both sides. They've got a really revamped secondary, and they're going to hit you. Now, on the flip side, you've got Ole Miss that's just – they've got a really good linebacker core. They've got some pieces on the perimeter, and they've got an okay pass rush, but they can really stop the run type of team. And I don't know who's going to win. I mean, every quarterback in this thing, I think it comes down to quarterbacks and who do we think's better, Trinidad, or do we think Carson Beck's better? I think that's who it comes down to.
Yeah. But before we make our picks on this one, what about a storyline that went unnoticed by most of the college football world, but the Tennessee fans that did not? Jacoby Thomas. He entered the portal after last season, ended up going to Miami.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, myself included, said, what are we doing? Yeah. That dude is a dog. But then you had several other people that said, we got Boo Carter. We got Javon McCoy. We got Ricky Gibson. Do we really need Jacoby Thomas? And yes, you did.
Yeah.
But now, something that happened in this game, because he got the game-sealing interception there at the end. And afterwards, he kind of shouted out Tennessee in a Instagram post, basically saying, Tennessee, I got you. I avenged that loss from Ohio State last year. And you know what that tells me? Is that he doesn't have bad blood towards Tennessee because he would have wanted to come back. It was what I'm guessing would be the coaching staff basically laying out to him, okay, this is what we're planning on doing next season. You can be a part of it, but you're not going to be that focal piece there. Yeah. So Jacoby Thomas did what any ball player is going to do. They're going to go somewhere where they know that they're going to be valued. They're going to get playing time. And in all honesty, Jacoby Thomas had a breakout season this year. And I'm happy for him. I wish it would have been in the orange and white uniform instead of that green and orange uniform. But that tells me that it was the coaching staff. They decided to move in a different direction. It wasn't a Jacoby Thomas deal where he wanted to leave Tennessee. He absolutely loved Tennessee, and it was proved with that post that he made after the game.
Yeah, it's all is fair in love and war.
Yeah, 100%. So Skylar did send his picks in. Skylar, he's going with Ole Miss in this contest. Jake, you've been talking up Ole Miss. Are you going to pick Ole Miss?
I think I am. I don't think I'm touching the points. But yeah, I guess Ole Miss isn't even favored. I still wouldn't bet on this game. Wouldn't do it. But I'm taking Ole Miss.
Make it 3 for 3, and I tell you why. Because even though I talked down on him so bad last week, I'm not a Carson Beck fan. I think Trinidad Chambliss is a better quarterback than Carson Beck. But also the biggest thing, I do not trust Mario Cristobal as far as I can throw.
Yeah.
Not one bit. And I wasn't big on the Pete Golding hire from within at Ole Miss, but I think he's got that team right where he needs them.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing for him. They're all fired up about the future under him, and he's proven that he can go out and he can win some ball games. I mean, he's right now the only SEC teams or only SEC coaches that have more playoff wins since the playoffs started than him. It's Kirby Smart and it's Nick Saban. So, and he didn't even coach in the regular season. But no, give me Ole Miss to win this ball game, make the national title game.
Yep.
So the next one, this is on Friday night. It is Oregon going up against Indiana. This is a rematch of an earlier contest that Indiana pulled out in Eugene, Oregon, 30-20. What's your feel on this game, Jake?
Are you going to hold Oregon to 20 points again?
I think they will.
Do you think?
Have you seen what this Indiana defense has been doing?
Yeah, I know. Although Oregon's not one-dimensional, you know.
They're not.
Alabama was one-dimensional.
I wouldn't say Ohio State's one-dimensional either, though. And you look what they did to Ohio State.
Well, Ohio State's got a little bit of a handicap with Julian saying that guy's not the best at a deep ball. Well, I guess I'd say an intermediate ball is what you're saying, what you'd go for. So you can play a lot more lax on him. No, I like Oregon here. I hate it because I want to see Indiana win. It's again, didn't Alabama beat Georgia? It comes back around. It's hard to beat the same team twice. Oregon is the epitome of that type of deal. Oregon is the most talented roster right now, currently playing football by quite a big margin. It might not feel like it, but they have a front seven that is better than anybody out there. I'll take them over anybody in the college football playoff currently. And no offense to Indiana, but they didn't really show me anything that I didn't already know, other than they were a little bit more physical than I thought. So really, that's it. I like the over on this. I think Oregon's going to score a lot of points. I think Dan Lanning's a madman, and I like Oregon. I really do.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about that quarterfinal game between Oregon and Texas Tech. You know, I saw a path to Oregon winning. Now, I was all on Texas Tech. I've been riding them all season long. I was going to keep riding with them. I could see a path to Oregon winning. I did not see a path to them shutting out Texas Tech.
That's a good point.
They shut down Texas Tech in that ball game, and it's just something that I didn't expect to see. Yeah. And before I make my pick, Skylar said give him Indiana in this contest. So Jake with Oregon, Skylar with Indiana.
Michael, I would love to know what and this would be impossible to do, but we may need to do this next year. When you and I agree on something, and when Skylar disagrees, because I think we would be overwhelmingly beating him in that competition.
I think you might be. I think you might be right on that one. It's either that or the complete opposite, and he's overwhelmingly beating us. One of the two. But yeah, here's what I'll say. I think you hit the nail on the head as far as the reason why I'm going to go with Oregon to win this contest. And it's the fact that it's very, very hard to beat a team the second time around. Yeah. And I finally learned last week that is the case. So a couple of meaningful games that I'm talking about here. So we're going to start with Georgia and Alabama. Mm-hmm. All right. Regular season, Alabama won that contest. I picked Alabama to win it, and Georgia blew them out in the SEC title game. Alabama and Oklahoma. Oklahoma beat Alabama and beat them pretty decent in the regular season. And Alabama, after making some fantastic adjustments, in-game adjustments in the college football playoffs, they came out and they shut down Oklahoma and they beat them. Third time I knew would be the charm, I picked Ole Miss last week to beat Georgia after Georgia beat Ole Miss in the regular season. Ole Miss came out on top. I'm going to stick with the guns here, and I think Oregon comes out on top against Indiana the second time around.
Yeah. And some people may be wondering, Jake, why are you wearing a Raiders jersey right now in this podcast? And I can tell you why. This is the battle of who is going to be my draft pick if we take at the number 1 overall place.
You're either getting Dante Moore or you're getting Fernando Mendoza.
Absolutely. Let's bring the nerdy Catholic home if that's what we got to do, or let's bring Dante Moore and give this guy a shot because we ain't winning without a first round quarterback.
I think there's some bigger problems at Oakland
Oh,
than a
golly.
quarterback.
Well, good news is Oakland doesn't have those problems anymore, thankfully.
Fair enough on that one. So we all picked Ole Miss in the one semifinals. Jake and I picked Oregon. Skylar picks Indiana in the other semifinals. So, any other thoughts on the playoffs before we move ahead to the other two topics of this show tonight?
No, I think I've got it.
All right. Well, let's move ahead to our segment 2. We're going to talk about the Lady Vols, but before we do that, I will give you our segment 2 sponsor, which is P&L Business Services. And I guess I'm on the wrong screen here. There we go. P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and a peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Make sure you talk to Miss Leanne and the staff over there at P&L Business Services. We know that tax season is coming up. This will be the best time to go ahead and get in with Miss Leanne and the crew to try to get things settled before they get into their super busy time. So please go to pnlbusinessservices.com if you would like to talk to Miss Leanne and the crew. We appreciate your continued support of the show. So, Jake, the Lady Vols, they started off their SEC season on Thursday, which was New Year's Day, going up against the Florida Gators and got an opening game win 76-65. So you did mention earlier that you don't keep up with the Lady Vols as much. But do you have any thoughts on this game here? Did you do any of the
I saw
research
some
on it?
highlights on it. I mean, I think it's good to get these wins. I know we're a younger team this year, just from what I was seeing. One thing, and I want to just preface, I see we have some people watching here, so please tune in and educate me if I'm just totally missing the ball. But from what I'm seeing is we play a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
We play a lot of just ball players. I think we just sub all 5 a lot of times.
It's like a hockey line change a lot of times.
So, and we're in year 2 of our basketball coach. I think we're right where we need to be. You know, I think that's. I know that we have Pat Summitt to lean back on, and that we're one of, if not should be, the best program in women's basketball out in the country. It's crazy. I think it's 10-3 is great, but you know we want to win them all. Same deal on the men's, but yeah, I'm happy with that win.
So just so y'all know, Skylar actually got these tickets tonight to go to the game because he knew this was the first night that we were talking about basketball, and he didn't want to be a part of it because he knew I was going to take over the show. So that's the real reason why he got those tickets tonight. But no, Skylar, we do miss you tonight. I hope you have a great time at the game. As looks like he's getting ready to start here in just a few minutes. But no, I think you're right. This is kind of where we want to be under Kim Caldwell in year 2. I do think that some fans, myself included, did have a little bit higher expectations because you had the number 2 recruiting class in the country last season. You also had a big portal class. So it's like, okay, you got this recruiting class, you got the transfer class. I'm expecting, big things, especially a deep tournament run towards the end of the season. And in reality, it's just something that doesn't always work out because you don't have the players gel the way that you kind of figure that they will. I do think that the team is starting to gel a little bit more, but some concerns that I have is this offense and defense is based off of forcing the other team to turn the ball over.
Yeah.
And when you're turning the ball over more than the other team is, that's not a winning formula. For instance, in this game, Tennessee had one more turnover than Florida. Now, luckily, you out-rebounded Florida 49-26, including 20-5 on the offensive glass. You shot 19 of 24 from the foul line. You compare that to Florida, where they shot 7 out of 10. So you attempted 14 more free throws than they did and made 12 more. So between the rebounding and the free throws, that's where the game was won and lost right there. But when you're playing a team like LSU or Vanderbilt or South Carolina, one of those higher quality teams later in the season, if you turn the ball over more than they do, you're not going to win that ball game more than likely. So that's something I really would like to see get cleaned up as we get deeper in the SEC play. But in this contest, we did see some very good things out of some players. Obviously, Talasia Cooper leading the way like she normally does. 17 points on the night with 7 rebounds as well. Z Spearman with 16 points and 10 rebounds, getting a double-double in the contest. You had Mia Paldo with 10 points on the contest. She also went 8 of 8 from the free throw line. So fantastic job knocking down the free throws. And Janiah Barker just shy of a double-double with 9 points and 12 rebounds. Alyssa Latham just shy as well, 9 points and 8 rebounds.
Wow.
So, I mean, great things all the way around for a lot of these players. Just really want to see some of these players cut down on the turnovers. For instance, Talasia Cooper had a great night, but also had 5 turnovers. Janiah Barker, great night, 4 turnovers. Z Spearman, great night, but 3 turnovers. So we really need to try to cut those numbers down as we get deeper into SEC play if we really want to make a run. Because Florida, they're a quality opponent, but they're not a great opponent like what we're going to see deeper into SEC play. So the next game Tennessee played, they did play again on Sunday against Auburn. This one was on the Plains, and you got a bigger win in this one. 73-56 was the final against Auburn. Jake, did you see any of this game here, or
I
get some
didn't.
highlights of it?
I did not. I did not. So that was one game that I wanted some information on from you. How did? Because is Auburn a good team?
Auburn is they're a rebuilding team. I believe they got a new coach this year, so not great. They did put up a bit of a fight, got down early against Tennessee, but cut it back down to single digits at one point in the second half.
I mean, they're 11-5. They're 11-5.
Yeah,
so they're not. They're not. I mean, they're winning.
Yeah, so they're not terrible, but they're probably not going to finish towards the middle of the pack of the conference. They'll be on the lower end of the conference by the time it's all said and done. But one thing about Tennessee in this contest is they knock down their threes early, which is something that we've struggled to see them do at times this season. At halftime, Tennessee went in to halftime shooting 7 of 10 from the 3-point line. Fantastic numbers at the half. Now, it cooled down a little bit in the second half, ended up going 9 of 21 total for the night, but that's still 43% from the field shooting threes.
That's crazy.
That's a fantastic number. Yeah. You did get another good night from Talasia Cooper, 18 points. Janiah Barker with a fantastic night, 17 points and 8 rebounds. And then it was just really all the way around good scoring. You had Maya Paldo, who is Mia's twin sister, come off the bench and go 3 of 3 from the 3-point line, 9 points on the night. Mia had 8 in the contest. Z Spearman didn't have a great night, only 3 points. She fouled out in the contest with only 5 rebounds, only got to play 16 minutes of the ball game. It was a game that you could have seen a little bit better overall stats from Tennessee. I mean, you shot 50% from the field total, 26 of 51 from the field, so that was great. Shot 75% from the foul line, 12 of 16 on the night. That's great. But then let's get into those turnover numbers again. This is what I'm talking about whenever you start playing quality opponents. Auburn turned the ball over 17 times in this contest. Tennessee turned it over 25 times. That's not a recipe for winning whenever you get deeper into this season, play against better quality opponents like the South Carolinas, like the LSUs, like the Vanderbilts, the Alabamas, those type of opponents there. You're not going to win ball games if you start turning the ball over like that. You did beat Auburn on the boards 34-31, but they out-rebounded you on the offensive side of the boards 16-10. It's not something that you see often, Tennessee getting out-rebounded like that. The way that they play ball is they're going to crash that offensive glass, look for the second chance points, and they get them a lot of times. But in this contest, Auburn did end up out-rebounding them on the offensive glass, although Tennessee out-rebounded them total for the night.
Well, and you know, if you're going to take that many threes, it's going to be hard because you already got a person on the perimeter to get that offensive rebound. Mm-hmm. So that sounds like, you know, that was a clean game. I mean, like I said, I didn't really get to see much on it, but I'm a numbers guy. I basically, when I was at Tennessee, I was an analyst, and I can hear numbers, and I played enough ball to know kind of what the causation is on there. So I'm
So
excited. I
here,
mean, I definitely, after hearing some of these stat lines and seeing, I think we'll be fine. I mean, I think that things are looking good moving forward because you're going to turn the ball over running up and down the court.
yeah. So with you being a numbers guy, this is going to be a big stat line right here that really caused Auburn to lose this game as well. 13% from the 3-point line, 2 of 16.
Oh, that's pretty bad. Okay, and the margin of victory is like 20 points.
It was 17. So yeah,
Got to
you
win
may
those.
you
I'd like to see that by 30 piece, but you know,
if you go 7, if Auburn goes 7 of 16 from the 3-point line, they lose by 2.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So did get off to a good start in conference play, starting off 2-0. The Lady Vols, they do play again.
Texas,
Pulling
I
up now.
believe.
I believe it is Thursday night. I think you're right, against Texas. Trying to get it pulled up, but it's you're about to hit some of these harder games coming up.
Yeah,
If you're
they'll
Tennessee,
play Lady Vols play Mississippi State. It looks like on the 8th. So I don't know where I got Texas from. I guess I was looking at the men's.
it's probably the men's tonight.
Yeah, I was looking at it because but yeah, they'll play 7:30 at Mississippi. No, it'll be at home, won't it? No, it'll be away. It'll be away.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's away. It's away. It'll be on SEC Network. Mississippi State is 14-2. So that's a pretty daggum good record through 16 games. Good opportunity to kind of get out of that 20 point. I'd like to be at least in the top 15, top 12. If I can stay around there, I'm content. We always want to win the shit, but again, Tennessee is what Alabama was in basketball, women's basketball. So they got to get back, and I think second year still being ranked and still doing better than our previous coach. I know she's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, so the next 2 games for the Lady Vols is they'll play Thursday night, as Jake mentioned, against Mississippi State. That's on the road, and then Sunday will be at home against Arkansas. So two very winnable games for Tennessee. I know they went into Stark Vegas last year, I believe, and dropped a game. But you can absolutely go into Starkville this year and get a win, then get a win against Arkansas on Sunday and start off the SEC season 4-0, which is what really matters. The SEC play really matters. Yep. So, Robbie, what you sipping on there, Gus?
He's giving me a hard time because I've got a Sprite sitting here. And he's okay, big wild turkey guy. Rob's gonna be the best man on the wedding. Big wild turkey guy. So he and I were on the phone while he was driving back over to home. Worked a little bit out of state for a little while. So Robbie, you better not be driving and watching the podcast, but I'm okay if you're listening. So
there we go. Just make sure that you like, share, and if you hadn't subscribed already, do that for us. So but no, any other thoughts on the Lady Vols before we move ahead to the Tennessee men? Talk about them for a few minutes.
No, I mean, really, like I said, this is not going to be my best segment here, but yeah, excited to see more of the Lady Vols, and I'm going to make my commitment and watch more of them. That is on me.
Yeah, we're definitely going to hold you to that. We're going to have to make sure that we probably bring you on for that Lady Vols segment to say, all right, Jake, what'd you learn this week? So
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
But no, let's move ahead to our segment 3, and our segment 3 sponsor is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So Tennessee basketball opened up SEC play on Saturday and unfortunately dropped one on the road against Arkansas, going up against familiar foe John Calipari, 86-75. Jake, your thoughts on this game here?
I did get to watch this game in totality, so I can give my comments. our offense has got to get something going. We need a third scorer. Well, we need anybody other than Jacoby Gillespie. I do think that if we can't eliminate turnovers, we're going to have a long season ahead of us. It's just turnover every single time I look. Nate Ament, man, I love you. I think you're going to be a great ball player. You need 15, 20 pounds on you at least. That's just where we're at. This SEC, look at the guys who brought in with Jim Carey. That's not his name.
Jalen Carey.
Jalen.
Jim,
Okay.
Jim is
Yeah.
he's an actress.
Yeah.
Or actor.
I knew that was bad. I mean, that guy's a brute. And you're bringing in a guy who looks like a string bean, trying to tell him, hey, we need you to jack up, 15 points and 10 rebounds, 15 points and 5 assists, and do it in the paint because he's not been reliable as a shooter. That to me is kind of scary. I'm hoping we can get. I wish you could just take Carey and make him big, just big. Like as far as big, I mean tall. I don't know why I kept saying big.
And I think that you bring up a great point there because I feel like Tennessee's got the guys that they need. Obviously,
Yeah.
we need more from Nate Ament. And you mentioned needing a third scorer. I 100% agree with that because in a game like you had against Arkansas, it was just a bad matchup for Tennessee because Arkansas, they're long, they're athletic, and not only that, they're muscular as well. So they're not just long and athletic, but they've got that build like we wish Nate Ament had. They've got the muscles on them where they're able. Ooh, Dwayne Brown with a fantastic dunk. Sorry, I've got the game on next to me. But anyway,
now you're
it was
the same thing.
it was a bad matchup for Tennessee because you've got that physical presence down low with guys like Jalen Carey and Dwayne Brown, who are both going to be fantastic players. Yeah. Jalen Carey's already showed out this year. You got Dwayne Brown, who is a true freshman that has got the same body build as Jalen Carey, and he's going to be a fantastic player. But when you go up against guys like that, they're both 260, but they're around 6'8", going up against guys that are 6'11", 240 type deal. It's just a bad matchup there. And Tennessee has done their job the last couple of games before then of just bullying folks, going down there playing bully ball. And I think that's going to be a recipe to success for Tennessee this season, just not against a team like Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, and that game was interesting because Calipari and Barnes were fighting for the most active wins, and now I think they're tied.
They're tied now, yes.
So I love this matchup here. I'm again, when it comes back to what I watch, and I'm not a basketball guru by any means necessary. They just need a guy to go to. One guy I really like, and I think I want to see him play a lot more is, I believe I'm saying his name right, Amari Evans.
Amari Evans,
that guy can play ball.
Yeah,
that guy can play ball.
And a credit to Rick Barnes. That was a guy that I feel like this year was going to come in, and he was going to be that guy that plays 2 or 3 minutes at a time, then gets a breather. Just to give a guy a breather, then he's going to come in a little bit later again for somebody, give them 2 or 3 minutes, and then go back out. Credit to Rick Barnes for letting him go in and say, all right, I'm going to let you get a shot here. And if you could prove to me that you can be on the court, then you're going to get more playing time.
Yeah.
And, man, he's gone out there and he's made the most of it in the games that he's gotten playing time, especially that last game where he was our leading scorer. He went out there and he led Tennessee in scoring. And not just that, he was a perfect 7 of 7 from the field. 1 of 1 from the three-point line. The only blemish was he was 1 for 2 from the free throw line. He did have a turnover in there as well. But listen to his stat line. Amari Evans, 23 minutes on the night, 16 points on 7 of 7 shooting, 1 of 1 from the three-point line, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 1 offensive rebound, 2 defensive rebounds, an assist, a turnover, and 3 steals.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day, every day.
I'm hoping, again, I hate to be doing 2 things at once, but to me, just watching this game right now, not to be a live commentator, it just seems like Rick Barnes is trying to find the right pieces to put together for the best starting 5. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't necessarily think we know what we have yet. And I'm thinking that we'll be fine moving forward. I definitely see us in February playing ball, but this is all about, trying to find the best pieces I can to win a championship. This team is absolutely capable of doing so. I know they're ranked 21 right now, and that everybody hates that, but It's not the number 1 seed overall that typically wins it anyway. Great finish by Jacoby Gillespie if we're on the same time.
Yeah.
But to me, again, Jacoby can't do it all night. I want to see more guys, and Brown's going to have to step up a ton with this Cade Phillips injury. That's brutal. That changes a lot about this team too.
Nobody is going to benefit more than Dwayne Brown this year with Cade Phillips going down. Because Dwayne Brown, I feel like, was going to be the guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle because you had 5 solid post players on this squad when you had Felix Okpara, you had Cade Phillips, JP Estrella, Jalen Carey, and then Dwayne Brown, I felt like was going to be that odd man out. And I hate that Cade Phillips went down because, honestly, he's one of my favorite players on this team. The energy that he plays with, what he brings every time he's on the floor, that's a guy that I absolutely love. That's a glue piece right there. Yep. With him going down, though, nobody's going to benefit more than Dwayne Brown.
Yep.
And out of all these guys that are out there, you're only losing one next season, and that's Felix Okpara. So you're going to have Cade Phillips coming back from injury next season, and you're going to have 3 guys with another year of eligibility after this. They've got to play all season long. Yeah. So nobody's going to benefit more than Dwayne Brown. Yeah. But sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dogs are screaming in the background. But, that game Saturday, I feel like that's not going to be the normal that you're going to get from Tennessee. It was just kind of like you mentioned, they're still trying to find their pieces.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's unfair for me to say that while this is by far not Tennessee's most talented team that Rick Barnes has had, I believe this is the deepest team that he has had since he's been in Knoxville. And I think just because of that, if you get the right pieces and they start playing like a team, the way that they have been the last couple of games before that Arkansas game, I feel like you could see this team make a run. I feel like you're going to have some struggles towards the beginning of the SEC season.
Yeah, you're turning the ball over. I mean, that's the biggest struggle. You eliminate a lot. I mean, we're probably one of the biggest turnover teams in the country. I'm just
which is very unusual for a Rick Barnes team. But you also look at some of the guys that Rick Barnes has been able to bring back in his time. You're playing with a new point guard this year for the first time in, I would say, probably 7 or 8 years. Because, you had Jordan Bone and then immediately went to, it was basically Vescovy at that point. And then Vescovy, it was to Ziegler at that point. Ziegler's been there he was there for 4 years. So you've got a new point guard this year, and you're basically playing point guard by committee in a way. You got Jacoby Gillespie running things for the most part, but when he's off the court, you see Bishop Boswell running a little bit. You got Troy Henderson coming in there some and running it. You don't have a true point guard on this roster. Jacoby Gillespie is probably the closest thing to it, but he's more of a looking to score type of guy than a true, dish it out type of point guard.
Yeah, we're lower than the bottom third, by the way, on turnovers, averaging 13.3. It looks like.
Yeah.
That's and just to give you an idea, 13.3 is not even close when you have a team like Temple and Northwestern that have 8.8. Okay, that's a huge jump. Again, these guys are young, and they've not really played together long. And so I think they'll figure it out. I do.
Yeah, I think a good thing about this team is you've got several guys that will be back next season. Obviously, you've got Jacoby Gillespie. He's coming in for 1 year, and he's gone. You got Amari Abrams. He's coming in for 1 year, and he's gone. But really, everybody else, just kind of going down the roster here, Bishop Boswell, he's just a sophomore. Dwayne Brown, he's a true freshman. Nate Ament, true freshman. Obviously, he's probably going to be going to the draft as long as everything goes right. Felix Okpara, he'll be gone. Mari Evans, he's a freshman. JP Estrella, he is a redshirt sophomore. Jalen Carey, I believe a redshirt junior. Ethan Berg, that's a sophomore. Amari Abram, as I already mentioned, he's a senior. I mean, and there's guys that didn't get to play last game either. Troy Henderson, a true freshman. You've got the other foreign guy. I cannot think of his name off the top of my head, but he's a freshman or sophomore. I believe he's a true freshman. You've got a lot of guys who are going to be returning next season, but obviously this season's in full swing. This is what we're looking at. But you're 100% right. I feel like this could be a team that they're going to have their bumps and their bruises towards the beginning of conference play. But I feel like when you get to the end of February and early March, this team's going to get hot.
Yeah. These
really do
older
think
teams
so.
are already going to be playing a cylinder quicker than younger teams, in my opinion. So that's where you're at. Teams can hit a ceiling pretty quick. I mean, a team like Kentucky, they're young. I mean, they're a good team. They're not playing great ball right now. So and you always see it every year. There's a team that gets hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I will say Tennessee had a player get hot against them with Arkansas as Daree Acuff Jr.,
Yeah,
true
that's a baller.
freshman, 29 points on 9 of 16 shooting, shot 8 of 9 from the foul line, had 4 assists in the game, 3 rebounds, 36 minutes played in the game.
2K numbers.
Yeah, fantastic effort from him. And then also Malik Thomas got in there with 18, Malik Ewan with 12. Just a fantastic game overall from Arkansas. And they used this was a back and forth type game the entire way. But then you got to the second half, and I believe it was around the 12-minute mark, 11-minute mark of the second half. Yeah, so Arkansas went on a 11-3 run, I believe is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. And that was the difference in the game. Tennessee could not come back at that point because once they stopped that run, it was just back and forth, basket after basket, stop after stop type of deal. Basically, if Arkansas scored, Tennessee scored after that. If Tennessee was able to get that stop, Arkansas got a stop right after that. So it never got any closer than that 11 points that Arkansas stretched it out to.
Yeah.
And Tennessee just didn't have a chance at that point to come back. But a lot of good things came out of this game. A lot of things that need to be worked on. Obviously, free throws. That's one thing is Tennessee was atrocious from the free throw line and has been all season long. But this game in particular, 12 of 23 from the foul line, which is 52%. That's not going to win you ball games. Compare the stats with Arkansas. Tennessee did shoot better from the field than Arkansas did. Shot 49%, shot 38% from the three-point line, but obviously the free throw numbers, Arkansas was 29 of 33 from the foul line, while Tennessee was 12 of 23 from the foul line.
Here's your ball game.
Yes. Yeah. Now, both teams had 14 turnovers. Arkansas out-rebounded Tennessee 36-33, so very close there. Out-rebound on 12-11 on the boards. Block shots, Arkansas 10, Tennessee 2. That just shows you the athletic ability and honestly the size difference between some of the post players for Arkansas compared to Tennessee's post players. As I mentioned earlier, you got 6'11 guys that are probably about 240 going up against 6'8 guys that are about 260. So the athletic ability there is totally different. And Jalen Carey and Dwayne Brown in particular, they were able to use their body to try to get position, but those other guys were able to recover because they're bigger, they're more athletic, and frankly, they're just able to jump higher than they are.
Jalen Carey is 6 foot. I was just reading it. He is 6'8", 267 pounds.
Yeah.
That's almost an offensive tackle. That was an offensive tackle just 3 years ago. I mean, that's the dynamic. I think that, like you said, this is one of those teams that has so many different pieces. They can beat you a couple different ways if they want to. And so, I mean, I've watched this game. I think we already got 4 turnovers in the first 5 minutes of it. And so that's the biggest thing, man. I mean, I think once that gets cleaned up, there's another one. It's going to get better. The problem is, are they going to clean it up? That's really my only worry. They've got guys who are going to get hot, and we might feel like we're limited at score. We're going to be fine. I've said this about every single team, but things are trending in the right direction. There's not much. You can't get much worse than where you're at right now, especially in basketball.
I mean, there's 2 things that I can say that they go for both the Lady Vols and for the men's team. Number 1, and it's an acronym that you're going to hear me say, and Skylar's going to hear me say all season long. HYFT. Hit your free throws. That's number 1 thing. Number 2, play fast, but don't play in a hurry. I've got to give a shout out to my middle school coach. I don't know if he'll be watching this at all or not, but Donald Jean. That was one of his favorite things. I want you to play fast out there. I want you to pick up the pace, but don't play in a hurry. You can play fast and still play smart. But if you start playing in a hurry, that's where things go wrong. You start turning the ball over. And that's what Tennessee men's and women's has done a lot this year. They've played fast and played in a hurry.
Yep.
You just got to play fast and play under control.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's the way to say it.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, those are the two things that Tennessee can do to improve. But obviously, you got Texas tonight. Right now, Texas is leading with 13, basically 14 minutes left to go in the ball game. Or in the first half. I'm sorry. It's 12-11. Texas on a 7-0 run right now. After tonight, the Vols will face off against Florida on Saturday. That game is at Florida. That's going to be a big game.
Yep.
And then you you host Texas A&M next Tuesday night when we're back on the podcast. So 2 more pretty big caliber games coming up in conference play between Texas A&M and Florida, facing off against the defending national champs in Gainesville on Saturday.
Be a big
I'm sorry,
test.
on Saturday. So
if you just want to keep, I mean, you want to win it, you got to keep that one competitive. That will tell you a lot about what kind of team you are. You want to compete with the national champions, and there's no question on that. And so you'll see a lot about mentality, I think, when it comes to that game in particular, regardless of win or loss. Lose that one by 30, we'll have some different viewpoints. So all that to be said, I'm excited. I know my dad is super excited about this basketball season, as he is bought all the way in with going to the games. He's got season tickets and absolutely loves it. So I need to go to a game. So I know Skylar's not watching, but shout out to him. That's something I need to be doing here in the near future.
yeah, I'd love to try to get up there for a game. Just I don't know for sure if it'll happen this year or not. But you got anything else on the men's team before we kind of wind things down? Because there's a comment that I need to get to here to kind of bring things back full circle to where we started. But you got anything else on the men's team?
No. Hope Amari Evans is okay.
Yeah, a little bit of a bloody nose there on the baseline, but
that's it.
yeah, but let's bring this thing back full circle. Prime Point Media, appreciate you tuning in. Not basketball, but needs event. We're absolutely screwed next year. We have missed on almost every single player that we targeted at this point, so it looks like Coach Josh Heupel is gonna just take all the leftovers. So, Jake, do you want to kind of pull Prime Point Media off the ledge here and kind of tell them a little bit about what we talked about earlier?
Prime Point, here's the deal. What's better, dinner or dessert? It's really that simple. You like dinner. You have to have dinner. But you're looking forward to that dessert. I think you're going to be fine. Don't take as many guys. We've been eating breakfast and lunch. We got our guys in the recruiting class. I don't know what you would have expected if we returned every single ball player this year. What we would be doing moving forward into next season, but nothing really changes as far as what the game plan is. We are fine. I still think we're going to get Ty Simpson. That's your little dessert. That's what my gut tells me, and what really a lot of people around Knoxville are feeling. And every PFF mock draft I've seen, which is what I personally have gone after in my coaching experience for anything, tells me that he's not going to be evaluated as a first round pick, and if he is, he's fringe. So it's up to him. Got his dad at UT Martin. You've got family that has connections around here, and he's got a younger brother who's probably more talented than Ty Simpson, at least looking, outside looking in. And if you want to get everybody kind of caught up in the same spot and make it convenient for the family, it makes too much sense. That's how I feel about it. I think we'll be fine, and leftovers really only come after a couple guys of 8. There's still some big bites left. There's always going to be something there that you're going to want to get. So I'm fine. Yeah, we're not getting, Marsh, whoever. We're not getting guys who are big names, but who big name has really entered the portal. I mean, that's kind of where I'm leaving it. Other than, I mean, really, can we name one guy who's a huge deal at any program who's left the portal?
I mean, you got
Cam Coleman's the biggest one.
And honestly, I'm I could care less about going after him because our wide receiver room is stacked. Cam
Yeah.
Coleman, DJ Lagway. So, all right.
Yeah.
We all right, so we didn't even talk about this because Skylar and I discussed it last week. Your thoughts on DJ Lagway. Would you take him? Obviously, Tennessee is not
No.
going to pay top dollar for any type of quarterback because they've already got a lot of money tied up in their
How much
quarterbacks
do
that
they
are in
pay
the
Joey
room.
Aguilar? Do we know the number?
I don't know the exact number,
I'm
but
just going to do a quick.
I would
because
say I would say it was in the one and a half
two.
$1.5 million range, something
You
like
think it's
that.
1.5? That's what I was guessing. Would you pay? Would you play for DJ Lagway 1.2 million, or would you rather buy 3 DBs or 1.5 million? Or would you rather buy 3 DBs for $500,000 each?
I would rather buy the 3 DBs
That's
because
kind of what I'm saying. Like, I mean,
with
you're already
DJ
paying kids.
with DJ Lagway, for me, it is the mindset and the body language that I saw him play with at Florida this past season. I was Florida very good? No.
No.
Were they going to go anywhere towards the end of the season? No. But with DJ Lagway, you saw him out there. He had that body language of I couldn't really care less. He gave up on his team. I don't want a guy that's going to give up on his team. That's
Yeah.
exactly what Boo Carter did. I don't want that in our program.
Yeah. Pull up Prime Point's comment because here's the deal. I mean, so I don't know if you tune in. I worked at Tennessee for a little bit of time, so I coached ball at Tennessee as low man on the totem pole, really just reinforcing what these assistant coaches said. Started as an equipment manager, dropped that to do this full time, and really did a lot of the analytic work. I've been around how recruiting works. There are less and less guys having to visit these programs purely because it's so marketed already. I mean, JJ Peterson's a terrible example, but we got him like a thief in the night, and he never even came to campus. There are guys who we're going to get. Did Ori Williams come to campus? I don't know if he did.
I don't know if he did or not.
I know that the safety did,
I
but
do know that Quay Morris or Quay Moss came.
I don't think that you got a 6'8", 305-pound offensive lineman. You just got him to. He did. Okay. Still, these guys. It's kind of like if you take any job. I mean, are you going to go and visit Dallas if they're offering you 100% raise? If you know what I'm saying, are you going to go to New York if they're offering you a 300% raise before you make the decision, or are you satisfied with hearing, oh, they're really just going to match what I have and it's a better program? That's kind of where it's at right now. I think Ty Simpson knows his number. I think he's probably worth the $2.5 million range. I'm okay paying Ty Simpson an extra $1 million. That's okay with me. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to waste $1 million here and $1 million there. I'm not just throwing that number out. And at the end of the day, I don't think you have to have guys visit unless it's like towards the end. I mean, unless you just don't know. If you're transferring, you've played ball, you've been through the recruiting process, you've probably already been to these schools.
Because this is another thing. I know we're kind of focusing on the quarterback position and not some of these other positions, because I think that's probably part of where Prime Point Media is frustrated with is obviously we could use a running back. We really need to get
the
one.
Kid out of Louisiana, we could. I mean, that's a good guy.
Yeah, we could really use another offensive lineman. We could use another guy on the defensive line. We could use obviously some more defensive back help as well. But we're using the quarterback as a prime example here. Do you know what the going rate for a portal quarterback is right now?
I'm assuming going rate is different than what the cream of the crop is. I'm gonna say if we're looking at a top 20, top 15 program, it's anywhere from $2 to $4 million.
It's $4 to $5 million.
So we now have a market reset. So that just tells me somebody's getting paid. But who's getting paid $5 million? You see what I'm saying? Like who has that deal? We can say what the market is. I mean, I'm in a commission job. I'm sorry, but my salary and my incentives are completely different. So that's my problem. Prime, I agree with the defensive side. That's where my worry lies. But we got rid of one starter that was big, and they getting rid of Herring. But you're going away from that D lineman / linebacker position. You're not going to have a Leo anymore. You're just going to have a defensive end. You're just going to have two defensive ends, and you're going to play a completely different leverage. That's going back to what we were talking about. I know we're kind of going on a tangent here, but the guy you just signed at safety, which is the position I worked with, I got to work under Terry Fair, Charles Kelly, and get to see Pruitt kind of mentor, because that's what they did. And I coached DBs at the JUCO level too. Evaluation, I know about that position, and that guy's a high level ball player. That guy is going to be in my opinion, the same position that either Boo Carter is or where Caleb Downs currently is at Ohio State, because you're going to play guys all over the field. I mean, dude, Caleb Downs is playing the very middle of the field like it was Tampa 2. I mean, he could just drop wherever. He's in the very center. You have your Mike there, but Jim Knowles, he's going to zone you to death. And I think that we went away from that this year. We played a lot more man coverage this year than we did in 2023 or 2024, whatever year prior, 2024. That's because we went away from what our identity is. It's not to try to blitz the crap out of you. It's more so to try to turn the ball over. And so I don't know what kind of happened there as far as with Willie Martinez and the way that he coached guys, but that's what I saw, and I think that we're going to get a lot of the back end cleaned up, because you can't be unhappy with the run. Well, you can be unhappy with second level run defense, and you can be unhappy with pass defense. Other than that, you can't get upset about sacks. I wanted to say, if he doesn't go to the draft, he isn't leaving. I'm just pulling up Grayson here. Just wanted to say, if he doesn't go to the draft, he isn't leaving. Keelan already said he is cool with waiting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about that. That's the problem. Isn't that there's a competitor there. I think he would it'd be making a kind of a mistake if he didn't take the position, because I think it's a stronger draft next year than it is this year. But I mean, at the end of the day, it makes sense for his situation at Bama. No offense, y'all don't have a run game, and it would be like, hey, I'm trying to give you a professional job in doing math. Well, I can do the algebra, but I don't have any proof on tape that I can do the calculus. It's really probably the other way around. You don't have a lot of a sample size of him just throwing a choice route 15, 20 yards down the field, which is what every NFL guy wants to look at. That's why Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker even got shots. And so that's, to me, why I think it kind of happens. I do think Keelan will be great, but I don't think he's declaring for the draft. I just don't. I know it sounds weird. I think that's out of the picture.
I agree with you. I think that we're either going to see. So basically, what I've seen is Ty Simpson is going to do a couple of different things. He's either going to go to the draft, which I don't think he's going to do, because I think, kind of like what you said, he's probably going to be a second round, early third round grade. And obviously, if he comes back to college, he's probably going to make more money there than he would be going to the pros in the second, third round right there. I think he's either going to be playing for Alabama or for Tennessee next season. I've seen, possibly going out to Oregon. I don't know if he's going to get what he needs to out there with Dan Lanning. And I'm not saying that in a bad way towards Dan Lanning. I just feel like that
he wants to be closer to home.
But Ty Simpson, I don't think is a good match for Dan Lanning. It's not kind of what Dan Lanning is looking for, where it would be what Josh Heupel is looking for. So I think that next season you're going to see Ty Simpson either in the crimson uniform for Alabama again, or he's going to be in an orange uniform for Tennessee next season. So Grayson also says, I'm not arguing that he wouldn't be better off somewhere else. I'm just saying he does love it here and never left to begin with. I'm just 99% sure he wouldn't leave. Could be wrong. And obviously, you could be right there. He might not be leaving. Don't know what's going on behind the scenes either.
I think, Grayson, I love it. I'm fired up for you. I think he would have announced he was staying if he wasn't at least entertaining the leaving part. He's got a billion people on his phone right now, and they probably were on the phone the day of him losing to Indiana. And this doesn't come down to, okay, this is a professional. This is a kid who's getting paid a lot of money to do what he loves. And this decision is such an emotional one. that's how recruiting works. You have sold a kid on the emotion of wanting to be here. I think that with his family, with his dad being around here, is where it makes a lot of sense, because coaches don't get to see their families a lot at all, and that's why I think it happens. And I don't think he's too worried about the money right now. I
Because
just think it's
you got to remember also, before all of this happened, Ty Simpson was committed to Tennessee under Jeremy Pruitt.
mhm.
Then when the coaching staff ended up changing, and Ty Simpson was ready to go somewhere. At that point, Alabama had come calling. Josh Heupel couldn't get out there to try to recruit him by that time, so Ty Simpson went to Alabama. So he wanted to go to Tennessee first. Could that love still be there? Yeah, it absolutely could.
Yeah.
So that's why I say he's either going to be back at Alabama next year or he's going to be in Tennessee. I don't think that he's going to the pros. I don't think he's going out to Oregon, as has kind of been talked about. He's going to be at one of those two places next season.
And I want to put this in perspective. His dad makes, just looking at his salary in 2023, it was $166,000 for the year. I mean, so this guy is probably making 10 times what his, probably a little bit less than 10 times, but I bet he's making $1 million. You
Yeah.
know, that to me is why things got weird. And it goes back to how I think that these contracts are structured. I don't care about the money. If I take everything out of it, it's the money, because he's already got it. And so I think now he's seeing it. He can get back in there and help his family in ways that, are different. And if you're a family guy like myself, the only reason I got out of coaching is I missed my family. I was in Mississippi alone, and was on the road 24/7, and it's a grind, and it's even more of a grind for a player of that caliber. So to me, that's what, my gut tells me. It's because what would I do if I was in his shoes? I don't believe that I shouldn't say this out loud. I don't know if he would have as good of, or be as successful at Tennessee than he would at Bama. I mean, Bama's receiver core was probably better than ours this year. So that's where I'm leaning towards, is just, this is more of an emotion filled one, and I think that that's what Heupel's built this on, and that's fine. That's just how it's done. So that's all I got on that, though.
Yeah. Well, Jake, I appreciate you hopping on with me tonight, with Skylar being at the Tennessee-Texas game. I hope he's having a great time out there, but appreciate all of you tuning in tonight as well. I believe we were steady between 24 and 38 viewers for the entire night, most of those being on X, but I do know we kind of teeter between 7 and 11 viewers on YouTube as well. Do us a favor, if you don't mind, and go to our YouTube page. Give a like on the video, subscribe. We're 18 subscribers away from 500 subscribers on YouTube. It's completely free. We're not going to ask you to go and pay something, some sort of subscription, anything like that. We're not going to blow you up with notifications. We do try to post a video daily. I've been doing some what I call Vol Fanatics sports updates each morning. Basically, any news that we're not able to cover on our live show that happens during the week, because we only go live once a week, and that's on Tuesday nights. There's a lot of things that happen in that week between live shows. So this is a way for us to get some Tennessee news out to you guys by doing these little updates in the morning. So if you don't mind, it helps us out. Go over there and give us a subscribe on the YouTube page there. Once again, it's completely free. We're not going to blow you up with notifications. It just helps us out, helps get our videos out to more people as well. But appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Jake, once again, thank you for coming on. I know you're more than willing to do it anytime that Skylar has to take some time to go to these ball games, because he likes to throw that in our face and all that. But looking forward to seeing what happens in the semifinals this week. Looking forward to seeing what else is going to come of Tennessee in the transfer portal as well. There's still a lot of time left to get some guys for next season's squad. So even though the thumbnail says panic meter is rising, I feel like the panic meter is still pretty low.
Yep.
I know Jake feels the same way. We'll see how it all comes out. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. And as always, everybody, go Big Orange.
Go Big Orange.